Hi, so this instruction video is if you have chosen to do the food web in your backyard as your project. So I'm going to give you some info tips and tricks on how you could do that. So remember that you're going to have a view such as this, and you've got to always click present to see your instructions. So that now we have our instructions, you're going to be choosing food web in your backyard. So you're going to click right here on food web in your backyard, and I might have to move my little picture around so that I can explain what's going on here. So you are going to be take a look around in your backyard or outdoor area that you can safely go to. So it might be around your apartment complex or even you're close enough to Stone Oak Park. Just be careful because the snakes are coming out right now. But you're going to be looking for organisms living in the area and you're going to need to identify them. And I know we don't know what everything is that's out there. So I have some resources for you to be able to identify. Ultimately, remember, you're going to be creating a food web of organisms living in your backyard or ones that might live there because you're not going to see all of them all the time, but you might have, footprint tracks that tell you, oh, there was a deer here. Or sometimes I know when I would get out of the parking lot to go into school long, long ago, I would see a scat or poop from a coyote or something like that. So you know they were there, but you didn't visibly see it. It's okay. You can also use that as well. But you are going to need 8 organisms. So you're going to need 8 pictures. So I'm going to talk about how we go take those pictures and we'll put them in the Google slide. Now, if you were doing it hand drawn on paper, that's perfectly fine. You can hand draw them. You would need to label them as such so that we know, but you ultimately would still be taking a picture of your drawing to turn it in to Mrs. Robinson or myself. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're going to need 8 organisms. You can draw and color your food web on paper, or you can do it digitally. Um, there's something called Canva, which is new. If you want to figure out how that works, that's great. But Google Slides is going to be the easiest, and I know that everyone has that. There's also Google Drawing. You could also just take pictures of the organisms on the food web that you're going to use, maybe that are in your yard or around your neighborhood, and you can put those pictures in that Google Slide, and that's what I'm going to show you. You also need to include a picture of your backyard or the environment that you've based your food web on. So I need to see that. And you've also got to make sure that you've included arrows to show the direction that the energy travels. Um, that's how, this is like your test. This is like your end project for digital food web. So let's look at how we're going to identify these animals. So if you click where it says here, it's going to take you to Texas Parks and Wildlife website that you can click on to identify organisms. There's also one for Texas Plants and Animals that you can identify. This one right here, Seek by iNaturalist app, it's a free app. And this one, I just played around in my backyard. But it's going to look like this. When you type in Seek in the App Store, it is free. And you want to get the one that's got the little green leaf. And when you have this, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but when I pull up Seek, it's going to look, where's my camera? Like this. This is the Seek, and there's a little camera button. So it will take the pictures for you and will put them in your camera roll, but it's also going to identify it. You do need to tell them kind of where you live because that's how it helps sort. But we have trees that we planted and certain plants, and I was able to take pictures and it told me the name of the plant. It also told me like how it gets its energy, like insects, what they typically eat and what eats them. So it gave you a lot of that information. So that's one of those resources. Leaf Snaps more for just plants, but this one here will let you do insects and animals and plants and funguses also whenever you do that. So they're helpful. Okay, so let's go back and let's talk about doing this project. I just want to quickly show you when you take your pictures, you're going to want to have the Drive app on your phone. It's free, it's Google Drive, so that you can put the pictures that you take from your camera roll in your phone or your iPad and put it straight into your school Google Drive account. And then it's going to be easy to access. So I'm going to show you an example. First of all, as you get ready to do this, you're going to want to go open a Google slide. And you're going to want to title it, put your name up here. Although when you attach it, I see who it is, but you're going to want to name it. So let's just say this is my backyard food web. And what I did is I took my picture that I had that I wanted in my camera roll. So I have a picture of a garden that I had done. So I have this picture here, and on your phone, there's like a little box with an arrow if you have an iPhone. I don't know what it is on the others, but I can click that, and that's going to tell me I can send it, and I can text it, send it to people. Well, I want to go over here, and I don't have Drive showing, so I want to click the three dots that says More, and I want to scroll down to Drive. And when I scroll down to Drive, it's going to pull up, and I've got my personal Drive account and my school Drive account. So I'm going to choose my school Drive account because that's where I need it. And that's where I can select a folder that I want to put it in. Um, Again, I think I have to select my school Drive account. It tells me I'm going to select a folder. I want to put it in my Drive, and I'm just going to go stick it in um, the folder that I'm teaching this with. So I have a picture in there. You would be doing all your pictures that you've taken. And if you've used the Seek app, those pictures are going to be in your camera roll. They're not just in that app. So I can go click all of these things on Google Slides, and I can get rid of them. You guys can make it all fancy and cute like you do. But anyway, we want to insert an image, and I want to go get my image, from Drive. And when it comes up in Drive, it's going to have your recent pictures that you've just put in there. And here's my picture that I took of my garden that I've built. So, I've got plants, I've got my dog. It's pretty big. Up here in the top of Google Slides, I can crop it. So I can take and crop this down where if I just wanted to show my dog in the picture, that's not what I wanted. That's a good thing. I can go back to this back arrow and go back. Um, I can take and just get a dog or crop out and just have the plant that's being identified there, and you can move it around. So you can make them smaller by dragging the corners. You can make them smaller or larger because you're going to have to fit 8 pictures on here, remember? You're also going to need to name them in there, so you just need to insert a text box. So you can put a text box. Click there, I can make it smaller, change my font size. Now remember transfer of energy, so I'm gonna have to, why am I not typing in here? I'm just gonna put dog. Okay, so that's pretty plain. You can take and move that around as needed. Now remember you're gonna need arrows to show transfer of energy. So this little line right here, you can choose and select and make it an arrow. So I can click and say, okay, so the dog is getting energy from, and I would have to have something it's getting energy from. Why it has 2 lines, I don't know. I'll fix that. But I can change the weight of the line to make it thicker. I can also change the color of the arrow and that kind of thing. So once you are finished with your project, this is my backyard food web. Now I need to turn it in. You have everything perfect with all the requirements that were on the slideshow. You're going to go back and you are going to go to the ecology project. Let me move myself so you can see how to turn it in. Here is where your work is. Notice you have no work here. So what you're going to do is you're going to need to go add, and you need to go add that Google slide that you made from your Drive. So I'm going to go to Google Drive, and now I'm in the way here. I'm going to go find, here's my slide of my backyard food web. It's recent. You can go search in your Drive, but if you've just been working on it, it's going to be under your recents. You double click it, and it is now attaching that slide in your work. And then you simply click Turn In, and you are done with your project. So make sure you follow everything on the slide that needs to be in your food web. If you're doing it pencil paper, then you're going to have your poster maybe that you did with your drawings and your labelings. Again, you're going to have to take a picture of it. And that picture, you're going to want it to take up as much of that Google slide as possible. And then you would turn it in the same way. So I hope this helps. And I hope you have fun doing your backyard food web. Have a good day.